Hi everybody, my name is Rexanna and this is my YouTube channel, Garden of Herbs. I had previously said on my Facebook channel, I posted that we were going to do some tinctures and maybe some oils on Yarrow. But I'm going to post it here on my YouTube channel and I'll link it over there. But basically, I went to my sister-in-law's house and they were going to get rid of their yarrow. And I was like, no! To anybody that's doing herbs, or like me, I'm a herbalist, I was like frantic. You can't get rid of it. And I've been looking for places. It's toward the end of the summer, so I know that it's time to go wildcrafting, and this is some dried yarrow, and it smells to me, I know some people, it depends on where you're from in the country, you know, I love the smell. This is the leaves and it's dried, and this is dried yarrow, because I'm going to make a tincture out of it. I had some powdered yarrow, and I'm going to do an oil. I'm going to make a oil infusion, a cold infusion, and this is a powder that I had, and I was just waiting for the right time, because anybody that studies herbalism knows that it's good to have something when it gets cold. You have aches and pains, and yarrow is really good for aches and pains of your joints. The same, but in a little different aspect, like cayenne pepper, any of the hot peppers really can help you, but in a little different way. It's an antiviral. It's also an anti-inflammatory. It does take care of some spasmodic pain. So yarrow is very, very good. It takes care of mucus in the body. So we're going to be going over how to do, I've already given you a couple of the action properties of what yarrow is good for, but we're just going to be going over how to make some homemade remedies. And I like to do, because using a cup of powder, we're going to be doing the 1.5 jars, and I like to do the wide mouth because of the amount of oil that I have to use, and then we'll do the tincture first with the dried herbs. I like dried herbs because you're not going to be using any, you're not going to be introducing any mold, and make sure they're clean. They don't have any kind of critters crawling in there. So even though this is going to be topical, this one is going to be a tincture, so we don't want to put anything inside of our body as well. So without further ado, I'm going to show you already. I'm just going to put this inside the jar, and I should have got my funnel, but I didn't. So I'm just going to cut my hand over it. Because it's powder, you're going to see a little bit of smoke or powder fly through the air. So you just want to kind of be careful, make sure that it doesn't get up in your face. And that's how much. We may even have to get a bigger jar, but it's going to take slowly, and I'll do this right in front of you. You're going to have to go slowly with the oil, because the oil is got to work its way down into the powder. It doesn't like happen real fast. And you'll see, I used avocado oil. You can use coconut oil. Coconut oil is heavier and it takes a lot longer. It may not be like, I use this to kind of help it get down in there. You can use olive oil. Olive oil is probably most most widely used. Some people use grapeseed oil, almond oil. I think olive oil is used the most. I just happen to have this right there in the front of my cabinet, and I know it's really good for the skin. And this is going to be used topically. And so whatever you prefer, just nothing lard, no lard or nothing Vaseline-like in the mineral oil. I don't use anything mineral oil-like. It's going to be kind of thick. You want to shake this up every day. I might even put a little bit more. You're supposed to use 10 to 12 ounces. I just put 10 to make sure to start out. And I'm probably going to put 4 more ounces because it's nice and thick. You start out with a cup full of dried herbs, which is powder. So it's really kind of thick. You'll see running off my spoon or knife. And I'm going to just walk behind the camera, and I should have brought my oil over here. But after a couple of days, it will get thinner without me adding anything. I'm going to walk right behind and I'm going to grab my oil. Sorry. And I'm going to I don't have much oil left, and I think I'm just going to put what I have left of the oil in here. And that's going to equal out to, that's another ounce. That's another ounce, that's 2 ounces. It's probably going to be 3 more ounces or 2.5 more ounces. So that's not going to be bad. And then I'll save my jars. Save your glass jars. I always save it because I'm going to be making next. I'm going to be making, because it's that time of year, I'm going to be making elderberry syrup. You always want to go in season with your herbs. And yeah, I think this is going to be better. Excuse me. I've been out in the garden, and I've got a little bit of allergies going on. Yeah, that's a lot smoother. Yeah, that's gonna be a lot better. That's gonna separate better. A couple more ounces. I just put 10, which was the minimum. And by adding a couple more ounces of oil, that's gonna, now you wanna keep it in here. My book says that, let's see, I think it is 2 to 4 weeks. I'll leave it in there 4 weeks. So in 4 weeks, now you can put this in a window where it's nice and warm, or you can even put this inside the oven at 300 degrees and let it sit there for a couple of hours after you turn your oven off, and let it heat there for a couple of hours. I like to leave it on the oven top in like a double broiler, and put on the very lowest setting for about 2 hours, and just heat it like barely at 100 for about 2 hours, and just let it sit there and just heat up for about an hour, or turn that burner off for about another hour. Let it just sit there and get really warm, and that gets it a kickstart. And then you turn everything off and let it just sit there, and then you're gonna let it sit there for another 4 weeks. Now I'm gonna just leave this. We won't do the double roll or anything. That's like a warm-up session to get it kick-started. But what you want to make sure you do, and you don't have to do that, you just can put the lid on it, but you want to put some like wax paper or parchment paper on your lid, and then put your lid on, okay? And then you're done for 2 to 4 weeks. You'll see the oil separate. Just make sure to shake it up. You put it in the sunlight and let it just stay there. Some people put it in the dark. I don't know what the big deal is, but there's a fly on my camera. Now we're gonna move on. Now these are dry, this is dried leaves and flowers. This is Yarrow. Now if you wanna put it in the blender and blend it up or powder it, that's up to you. I've already been sitting here mashing it up, but you can, it says 2 ounces of dried herbs to 16 ounces of alcohol. I'm going to just roughly estimate it. I'm going to do it the old folklore way. And I'm going to just go like this, because I know when you push it down like that, that's over 2 ounces, and that's actually plenty. But I'm going to put a little powder plus the flowers, and that's plenty right there. But it's going to also, and I'm going to put my, let's see, this here is your 14 ounces. Yeah, that right there that's your 16 ounces. So this right here is your 2 ounces of herbs in your cup. That's more than enough. That's actually, and I'm going to put just a little bit more because I want to. So that's more than enough herb right there. And then this is 2 cups, because that's 16 ounces is 2 cups. And so you have your, I use vodka. Some people use Everclear. Some people use rum. Some people use whatever. But you just gotta have an alcohol that is, I think, 50% or more. And I don't like anything that tastes or has a flavor to it, because I don't like alcohol. I mean, I like a glass of wine every now and then maybe, but it's hard for me to drink a glass of wine every now and then. So, I want something that doesn't have a flavor or a taste. And so I just use vodka because I know I don't want that flavor in my tinctures. And some people use glycerin, because glycerin will not have that. It's more sugary flavor. And they don't want their kids to have it either. So you're going to just pour it in here. Now, you're going to have some headspace right there, okay? And that's okay. That's fine that you have enough, because you're seeing you also have some down here at the bottom too. And all your herbs are right here. And that's good. Now this definitely, I know there's two schools of thought. Put it in the sunlight and put it in the dark. I put my tinctures in the dark because I don't want them to be exposed to the light, because you're supposed to keep them in the dark. And I do all mine for 4 weeks. And because your alcohol will corrode your lid, you do want to keep your lid covered with something like a parchment paper. I don't really have that much parchment paper right now, so I am using the wax paper, and I'm just turning the wax on the other side. You want to make sure to give it a good shake and make sure it's fully covered. And this is going to be a good Yarrow tincture. And I don't do a lot of Yarrow tinctures I just do, you know, a little bit of yarrow tincture just in case we have to have it on hand. Mainly use my salves, and then you want to make sure you date it for the date that you started it, and then the date, you know, you put yarrow, and then you tincture date start and date end, and then you shake that. And I definitely put that, I'm not going to put the lid on that because I'm going to get that started, but that's what I promised everybody on Facebook, and I'll link it. But there's lots to talk about yarrow. Yarrow is a wonderful plant. It's wonderful for home remedies. And if there's anything that y'all would like to like and share this video, I would greatly appreciate it. And you know, there's plenty of yarrow here left. Why don't y'all go wildcrafting? Now's a really great time of year. It makes, my sister-in-law had it in the front of her yard in her flower bed, and she said it comes back year after year. I think this is going to come back next year in her flower bed. And she has it right beside her peppermint, and they have no problem with peppermint. It's just, she said, this thing is out of control. She said it just grows, lays over, and just, I think it's 18 years old, her yarrow. And I said, you have no idea. I'm going to go home and make you a home remedy. And so I'm going to be making her some salves, and I'll take her some tincture and stuff like that. So you guys get some stuff in your in your mind, and if you want, I think Star West Botanical has it if you don't want to grow it. But it's a beautiful flower, and I know that there is a herbalist named Yarrow. So his mother even named him that. So anyway, why don't you guys have a great day? And I know I'm going to. I'm going to finish up here. And y'all like and subscribe to my channel. I need some subscribers, okay? And that's all for today. And I'll check you guys out on the next video. Bye for now.